Hi everyone, welcome to the data structures tutorial. In the previous videos, we have seen how to implement doubly linked list. That includes structure definition. So this structure defines a memory block that has three fields. One contains the information, one contains next, that's a pointer variable, and previous, that's another pointer variable pointing to the previous node. So next is pointing to the next node. Now create is a method, so where by using dynamic memory allocation we create a block of memory that holds three fields, and previous and next pointer will be allocated with a null value. And the other things that we have discussed is how to insert information at the beginning and end of the doubly linked list, and how to display the elements in the doubly linked list, then how to delete the elements at the beginning and how to delete the elements at the end of the doubly linked list. Now let us see a new problem and let's try to implement by making changes in this code. Design and implement a menu driven program. Let's talk about this menu driven program in C later. For the following operations on doubly linked list. So we need to implement doubly linked list of student data, and the fields that they require is USN, name, department, marks and phone number. So total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So why I mentioned 4, 5, 6 is we have to store at least 3 marks, M1, M2 and M3. So total 7 details we need to store. And first one, create a doubly linked list of n students data by using end insertion. That means we need to create a doubly linked list and end insertion we have to do, that is insert at the end. We already well known how to write that function. We'll see what changes we have to make. Display the status of DLL. So we need to display the status, means how many nodes are there. Here the count is 2 nodes are there. We need to print 2 number of nodes, and the details like whatever the information is there that we need to show. After that, insertion and deletion at the end, insertion and deletion at the front of doubly linked list. So these operations are also very well known. Then display total and average marks of the each student. So every student have some marks, scored some marks M1 and M2, M3. So we have to show M1 plus M2 plus M3 some total, and also we have to show the average of these marks. Let us straight away dive into the program. Now, what is the structure? What is the structure for this problem? Previously, for doubly linked list, what we have done, we have taken 3 fields. One is information, another one is next and previous. But when it comes to this doubly linked list, the fields that we require are more. So let us see how the structure of this doubly linked list will be. As usual, there will be a previous and the next node. Then apart from that, you'll have USN number, name, then you'll have department, then marks M1, M2, M3, then phone number. So total 7 fields will be there here in the doubly linked list, and previous and next are the pointers that shows previous and next node. Now looking at this create method, what changes we are making in the create method? Previously only one information is there, so one printf was there and one scanf to enter the details, but we are having 7 details here. So for that, enter USN number, temporary.usn number. See here, temporary is a variable which is creating one temporary node. In that node we are entering the information of USN, name, department, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 and also the phone number, and we assign null value for both previous and next. So what happens the moment when you execute the create method is a memory block of this size is created and name it temporary. Temporary holds the address of this structure node, and previous, next. So if you look at these two statements, previous and next, temporary previous is null, temporary next is null. Next, enter USN number. Enter USN number. So here USN number, consider I am giving A1, and name, consider I am giving ABC as the name, department CSC, and marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. So maybe I am giving 40, 50, 60. Then phone number. So phone number I am giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So all these details will be stored here in the temporary. Then what will we do? Here if you observe, there is count plus. Whenever we are creating a new node, we are giving count plus. And here a variable is declared globally, int count. Every time you are creating a node, we are giving one increment to it. And insertion at the end and insertion at the front, there is no big changes in the functions. What we will do is, by keeping these two methods in our mind, let's start implementing this, or by solving the problem. So in our previous videos, if you observe, already we have defined the structure. Doubly linked list is already implemented, and we have created the node, insert at the beginning, insert at the end, function to display the information, function to delete the node at the beginning, function to delete a node at the end. To understand these functions better, you watch the videos one more time. You will understand how these functions work. Let me run this program and see whether it works or not. Build and run. So enter the choice. Let us check whether is there any elements in the list. List is empty. Then 1 insert at the beginning. Let me I guess I am running a wrong program. So let us run this program. First, let us try to display the list. So there is no element in the list, so list is empty here. Then insert the element at the end. So I am entering 5. So if you observe, it is already displaying the fifth 5 which is there in the list. Then let me insert at the end 10. So if you see, insert at the end 5, 10. Then insert at beginning 20. So insert at the beginning happened. So this is working well. Let's try to edit this function, solving the other problem. Now what I am doing is, insert at the beginning and insert at the end I am keeping, and let me create a new function, save it as doubly version 2. So .c is created, and from the doubly linked list, what I am doing, I am taking this part of code and here I need to add int count. So this is to count the number of nodes in the DLL. Here this structure does not, this structure should have different values. Let me copy paste it from the code which already I have kept it ready. So this is the structure. If you observe, we are having marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, USN number, name, department and phone number, and next and previous. We are taking the support of first, last and temporary, and we have initially assigned the value null. to create, user has to give the input. So for the user to give the input, we need to have enough number of printf and scanf statements. Let us go with that. And so temporary info is not required, so I am removing it. And whenever you are creating it, you need to increase the counter count. So count plus plus is done. So this is done. Then insert at the beginning and insert at the end. Insert at the beginning and insert at the end. Insert at the beginning and insert at the end. There are no big changes for this function. So copy paste insert at the beginning and insert at the end, as it is they work. Then it comes to display. So when it comes to display, what actually happens when you call a display method in doubly linked list? If you observe, there is a temporary variable that is assigned to the first. That means first address of first node is assigned to the temporary, and from there we are traversing to next address and we are trying to print all the values that are there here. This is correct, but to print we are having more information rather than one variable. We need to use all the other variables like USN, name, department, marks, marks 2, marks 3, every details we have to fill. We have to print. Along with that, we need to also print the total and average of these marks. A function is already written for that. Let me copy paste it over there and explain you what changes are being done in that. So let's copy and paste it here. If you observe here, temporary is equal to first, and to traverse the complete doubly linked list we are using temporary variable as I mentioned, float, total and average. So total marks and average marks. First is equal to null. If first is equal to null, there is no doubly linked list, so list is empty. And else temporary is equal to first, this may not be necessary, it's repeated. Now if you see USN, name, department, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, everything has to be printed. So all the respective variables are called here to display, and two statements are here. Each statement calculates, first statement calculates the total marks and another statement calculates the average, and we are printing total number of nodes. So here if you remember, we are keeping a counter to increase the count value, count plus plus, in the create method, right? So we are printing that variable. Here you may get doubt how count variable in the create method is can be called from the different method. It's a global variable. I repeat, if you observe, it's a global variable where we can call from wherever we want. Okay, deleting part we will see later. Let us run this program and check whether we get output or not. Void main. So let us call the method insert begin. So let me call this method 4 times, so to insert 4 times, and after every time inserting, let me display the values. I should have copy pasted this. So insert at the beginning. At the same time, let us do for insert end and display. So every time I insert an element into the doubly linked list, I am trying to display. Let us run this code. If at all we get any error, try to solve that errors and we'll see whether we get output or not. Build, compile. So 0 errors, 0 warnings, so it means it is perfect. Then build and run. Okay, so directly we are calling the elements. Insert USN number A1, name ABC, department CSE, marks 1, 12, 13, 14. Enter phone number, enter. If you observe, first we call insert at the beginning, and we are printing all, or we are displaying all the elements that we have entered in the doubly linked list. And again it is asking, so let us enter A2. So it is insert at the beginning, so before A1, A2 should display now. So give some random values. So if you observe, A2 is inserted above A1, that is insert at the beginning. So we called, let us see how it works. If you observe, AS is inserted before A2. How many times we have called insert begin? 1, 2, 3. So 3 times. So now insert at the end has been called. Now whatever the data that we are writing, that should insert at the end. BBC I'll give, department BBC, marks 60, 20, some random numbers I am giving. If you observe, B1 is inserted at the end. Similarly, if you observe, there are total number of 5 nodes, and 5th node is entered at the end of the doubly linked list. So total 6 number of nodes are there, and the last information is being inserted at the end. So it means it is working. Now let us implement delete at the beginning and delete at the end. So delete at the beginning and delete at the end, there is no big changes here. So if you observe for a regular doubly linked list, what we are doing, we are freeing the temporary by allocating the first address, we allocate it to the temporary variable, and we free the temporary, and we update the address of second node to the first element. We update the second node address in the first variable. So this is how it can be done. And if at all you have only one node in the doubly linked list, both first and last will be updated to null. If at all you have more than one elements in the doubly linked list, only first variable will be updated. This is updated to this method. In this method, what we are doing, we are trying to print the node that we are deleting, and we are reducing the counter by 1, because since we are doing delete operation, whenever you call a delete at the beginning or delete at the end, what happens is one node count is reduced, so we are calling counter or count minus minus. Let me copy paste the delete at the end. Delete at the end also similarly happens. What happens is last variable is getting updated with the last previous address when you are doing delete at the end. Now, so hopefully we imagine that works. Let's go back and look into the question. In the question, if you see, I said we will come back to this menu driven program in C later. Menu driven means it's very simple. What we are doing is we are taking a switch case that serves like a menu when you run the program. Now, when you observe here, after every insertion or deletion, I am displaying the elements. This is not mandatory, but for my satisfaction to understand whether the elements are updated in the doubly linked list or not, I am using this display part. Otherwise, it's purely your choice whether you want to do it or not. Let me run this program and see what happens. Build, compile the file. So compile, so 0 errors, 1 warning, so we don't bother about the warnings. Okay, written with value is there. Okay, I said void main and it is int, so let's update to the int so that this warning also will be. Okay, let me check, debug, compile file. So 0 errors, 0 warnings. So now we are free to build and run. If you observe here, insert at the begin. So insert at the begin 1. enter the USN number. So let me enter the details properly now. ABC, name, ABC, department CSC, marks 45, 55, 65, phone number. So this is the phone number, enter. If you observe here, the details are updated and insert at the begin happen. Number of nodes is equal to 1. Let's delete the same thing, 3. The moment you delete, it is deleted and list is empty, it is showing, and it is displaying the elements that you have deleted. So let me try to display the list 5. So the moment I try to enter 5 and display the list is empty, so it is working. So let me enter insert at the end, ABC, CSC, marks 45, 65, 76, phone number 120, then enter. Insert at the end, USN number, BBC, CSC, marks 87, 88, 89, phone number 789 something. If you observe, total marks and average is calculated for all the marks of individual student. Then if I use display the list, so it displays the list and number of nodes. So if I press 6, it exits the program. Done. So this is all about the program. Yeah, I forgot to mention here, create a doubly linked list of n students data by using end insertion. What you can do is either you can create a new method, or before anything you just write a for loop. So this can be like a task for you. Write a for loop that takes n number of student information into the doubly linked list.